Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I hope y'all are having a wonderful day today. Excuse me. I have been going through some things. I'm going through just uh just going through things. You know how you accumulate things over time and just getting rid of things. That is my goal, to get rid of things I don't need. And so while I was going through this paperwork and going through all of this stuff, I came across some documents and paperwork of a situation that I found myself in like years ago, years ago. And basically it was just like false, right? And I totally forgot about this. I wasn't a Christian or anything at the time, but it was like this altercation that was not supposed to be an altercation, but the person became aggressive and, didn't realize that I had a friend that was there. One of my female friends was there and she got involved, and it was just all this stuff going on with, the person having, become aggressive towards me. Didn't hit me, but was threatening because they thought I was by myself, but then didn't realize my friend was actually there. And so this stuff occurred, and just looking back and now remembering that this individual went to their car and got a gun out and was coming towards me and my friend, but really was going towards my friend for helping me. And just that whole thing that happened, and then false claims being made, to cover up that person being the aggressor, and the whole process, guys. And looking at it years later, having forgot about that, and just looking at all the people, all the statements and everything that people wrote, sworn statements of having seeing everything that occurred and how it happened, and even incidents leading up to it. Because of course back then I'm hanging out with my friends, and the same person had approached me and was trying to talk to me, and my friends were like, no, and all this good stuff. And guys, I know I'm not getting too much into details because I just don't want to, but I think me looking at this like many years later, seeing how God was in the midst of that, looking back at it now and thinking about all the things I read in the news, all the things that happens in the papers, how easily I could have lost my life that day, and I was nowhere close to God. How easily my friend possibly could have lost her life that day. And it was like, as I was reading this stuff, it just started to come back to me. It is amazing how we can lock away those things and completely forget about it, because I literally have forgotten about that because it was such a long time. And I got really teary-eyed and really start to thank God, because I don't think I've ever thanked God. Maybe I might have said it like, oh my goodness, thank God this is over, or something like that. But I've never, as far as I know, ever really shown appreciation to the Lord for saving me, because it was definitely not something that I expected this individual to do. It was not in the nature of this individual to do anything like that. It was completely unexpected. Definitely not something that I thought would have happened at all, but it did, and everything was just happening so fast. And as I was reading it, I was remembering, it's like I was getting flashes of it, how it happened, and how the person thought I was by myself, but my friend was with me, and my friend got involved. And, my friend, she's from New York. We're both from New York. So she was really like front and, both feet planted on the ground, fearless. But we both could have died that day, because the person literally went to the car and pulled out a gun to use. And even then, we were still like, what are you going to do? And literally, in the heat of the moment and with anger, we both could have died. My friend could have died. Things could have just gone a different way. And I'm just so thankful for God's mercy and for how the truth prevailed, because now the threat was the situation, I guess perhaps maybe when this person thought about it after the fact, okay, I pretty much assaulted, or physically grabbed these individuals. I got a gun out. People saw. I have to come up with a story. And so that was up. Yeah. So thankfully, I had a force behind me, not only in people that came forward and were willing to write statements and say, no, this is not what happened. This is not the truth. They went and got sworn statements. Nothing ever came of it. The person basically just disappeared, so to speak, just didn't come carry out whatever they were trying to do because they weren't telling the truth. So, guys, I just wanted to just say this. When I remember that, I'm so thankful to God, because I believe more than anything that He was in the midst of that situation, because based on what I read about and how things happen, that scenario sounds so much. When I was looking at all the paperwork, when I was looking at all the statements, when I was reading in details and really seeing how this happened, how perhaps maybe a day or two prior to that, things were leading up to it, with this individual coming up to me and wanting to pull me to the side to talk. And I'm with my friends, all my friends. I'm with, my female friends. And then there were all our, male colleagues and stuff that were there. It was leading up to, and just really seeing that this person who I viewed completely different in any other scenario seemed mild-mannered and decent and, not a threat. Seeing how it just happened, how all of a sudden it was just like this situation, And yet God saved me. Even one of the individuals that wrote a statement was somebody that I don't even really get along that much with this individual, but yet, and this person was senior to me. And so, as far as in rank, and this person wrote a full-on statement. So he was using people who were just witnesses there at the location, my friends, my colleagues, just a character statement. And the person just never went through, like it never went any further, because I believe the person knew that I was not the one that did anything. You know what I mean? So I think looking back at it, there's so much to be thankful for, guys. And I'm thankful to God for saving me. I'm thankful for how He made a way out of no way. And I think of maybe all the other dangerous situations I may have been in, And sometimes there are things, we don't know the heart of man. We don't know what's going on in someone's mind. Maybe he was, God sees everything that people are planning to do. He knows the heart of individuals. And so my mind, all we saw was a threat with a weapon, but perhaps in that individual's mind, they would have killed us. But the angels of the Lord had it of such that even in the midst of anger and that high volatile situation, that never happened. And we just have to sometimes just remember all the things that God has been doing for us, the things that we even forget about, the things that we have logged away in our minds, the situation that he may have protected us from, that we didn't even know someone was thinking about it. We don't know how often maybe people have thought of hurting us. Someone is angry, they think to do something to you, think to do something to your loved ones. We don't know when we've been somewhere and we passed somebody who had all intentions of doing a shooting or something like that, but they changed their minds. We don't know how many times we have walked somewhere and there was a killer nearby, or we would have met that drunk driver down the street. You know what I mean? So I'm just thankful to God for saving me. I'm thankful for him for taking me out of the situation, because even when I was looking and I was reading that stuff and what the individual did, but then at the same time, my response too, was still kind of like, blah, 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 whatever type of thing. So I wasn't even walking in wisdom then. There was no fear where there should have been. Even if there's no fear, there should have been silence. But I was like, blah, blah, blah. Just maybe in the back of my mind thinking, nah, that would never happen. And then not really caring. When there was no running, there was no anything, just my friend and I standing there like, seriously? So you're just going to shoot us? The answer could have very much been just that. So guys, I just was like, wow. It's easy to forget what the Lord has done, and it's easy to log away bad memories. And I believe sometimes the Lord has us to do that, so we're not just, all those things are not on our mind. But also, guys, we should be thankful for the things that God does, the things that we know about, and the other things that we don't know about. So, or, the things we've never seen. We don't know what happens while we're sleeping. We don't know who's walking outside. We don't know who we're next to. But yet God protects us. God may keep us hidden. God may, sometimes when you wake up late, or you can't find your keys, or sometimes you don't get to go somewhere, or you just don't feel like you should go somewhere, you don't go. Sometimes there's a reason why. Now, sometimes people will think, the Lord told you not to go somewhere, you really felt it in your spirit, and then you don't go, but then nothing happens. And you'd be like, oh, I should have went. No, you wasn't supposed to go, because if you went, something may have, perhaps what was going to happen was not at that place, but maybe on your way back, or while you were there, a person would have engaged with you. So nothing happened because you didn't go. You weren't supposed to go to that place at that time, at that date, because something was going to happen. I can't tell you how many times I've heard of people who died, and their family will say that they were thinking not to go. They didn't feel like going, but they were not going to go, but at the last minute they got up and went anyway, and then they died. So God is always protecting us, guys, in so many ways. We often focus on the things that are tangible and the things he's not done, or in our mind we're going, oh, God didn't do this, God didn't do that, and we're not aware of how much more he's doing. So I thank God for my salvation. I thank God. I just feel so humbled to just see this thing here, and was like, wow, Lord, wow. Thinking of other things, thinking about when I was just out doing my own thing, doing wrong on the highway from doing wrong, or on my way to go do something I'm not supposed to be doing, fornication, and on my way back, and on the highway it was raining. I'll never forget it. It was raining really hard, and I was there was this long truck big old truck, had a flatbed and all that. And I was already in the lane I was supposed to be, and I was in the left lane, but the flatbed decides it wants to come over in the rain. It's raining, and he just starts to come over, and I have no choice. It's long. It runs me off the road, and my car goes off the road because I had to go off or end up getting crushed by the flatbed, the truck. And so I go over, and the car is just down in that, it's not quite the median, but the grassy area and stuff that is in the middle on the highway. And so I'm over there, over in the car, just going quickly and out of control. And guys, I just was going, and I saw the sign. I forgot, how in the States, they have that grassy area, and then they'll have like the signs telling you what's coming up. I tell you guys, the car went right up to that really fast. I'm trying to get control of the car, and it stopped right in time before. If I had gone through, the sign would have just came through. I don't know how the sign was. I can't explain it, but the way it was, I would have probably gone. The sign would have just come through the car, and it would have decapitated me. Because that's all I was sitting there thinking as I'm sitting there looking at the sign. And that was when I realized how the sign actually lights up. I mean, I've seen it at night, but that neon thing the sign has, or that reflection that it gives you, that fluorescent thing, I noticed it because my windshield wipers were going, my car was right there stuck, and my headlights were beaming on it. And I just noticed how green and the white words were just fluorescent like. And I could see all the details of that sign. And I'm just sitting there and thinking, had this come any closer, my head would have come right off. It would have gone through the windshield and cut my head off. And I would not have gone to no heaven, because I just finished seeing my boyfriend or was on my way. I can't remember. I think I was coming back. There's a lot to be thankful for. And I thank God for just giving me the opportunity and putting all that He has placed in me, all my experiences and all the things that I've gone through, all the things that I've missed, all the near misses, the mistakes I've made, the people who have hurt me, disappointments, just on whole. Because my greatest disappointments, after salvation, and even before that, was not the unsaved people. It was the saved folks. I mean, yeah, there's conflict and little things that may happen. Those, like what I explained to you, that situation that happened with that whole aggression towards me, that was not my life. Like, that was not common in my life. Those type of incidents was not common. What was common is like me hanging with my friends and going out and having a good time. So drama and vindictiveness, I never really experienced that until church folk. When I realized it, and I had to learn through my walk that it wasn't, those people don't represent Him. But at the time, you couldn't tell me otherwise, okay? And that would have explained how I backslid for several decades, okay? I was just done. I was gone. But God kept me. God covered me. God watched over me. As a matter of fact, I had that drama and stuff that I was going on during that time. That was during my time. Those were during my decades, my time of being away from God. Because by that time, I'd already, before that happened to me, like years prior, I was trying to know God, and then I was done wrong, and I thought, okay, I'm a bad person. I'm bad. I can't do right. So I went out into the world and was doing my own thing and living my life, just thinking I'm meant to be, I'm not meant to be one of God's precious saints. You know what I mean? And so look at God keeping me. And I do want to end this video. I didn't expect for it to be this long, but I was thinking about how it's so important we are careful how we treat people when they may not be at their best, because look at my journey through that time. Being vilified in a ministry because I shared my struggles, and I guess they must have felt, let's get her out of here or whatever. I didn't commit any crimes, but okay. They did these things, they mistreated me, and I began to feel shameful and that I'm less than, and I left. I was like, okay, God does not care for me. I can't do right, so I guess this is who I am. But look where my journey took me, to a point where I was at, someone had a weapon. You know what I mean? That's just a few things, that was like one of the, I've never had anything like that happen, and ever since, but just different things. And so we have to be careful as believers that we don't, while we must speak God's word and truth, we have to be careful that we don't just demonize a person, because you don't know the road and what they end up going through when they turn away from God. Of course, they will be responsible for their choices, but I believe with everything in me that Christians who cause people to fall away, who cause people to become uncertain of who they are, and to feel like they are the worst thing and everything is their fault, and they go out into the world and they just do whatever they want to do, while they're going to be held accountable for their choices, those believers that did that, God's going to hold them accountable for it. Unless those individuals that did me grimy back in those days, doing those things to me, how they did, the stuff that they did. I have a video that says my son became the ultimate sacrifice for my sin, and just other little things like that, lies that they told. Because a lot of times, guys, when people do you wrong, especially in ministries, when they do shady and sneaky stuff, supposedly in the name of God, they have to build up this narrative about you. And number one is going to be by magnifying your sin, your failure, what you've done. They're going to magnify your struggles and all of that, and then they're going to lie on top of that. So, and then they set out mandates, so people will never really get the whole story from you. They're going to believe them because, look, you're the little, the sinful scab over there, and for a long time I just truly believed in my heart, okay, I'm just not meant to do this, and I wholeheartedly believed it and just lived a life without Christ. But look, he had tabs on me all along. He watched over me, and God knew the perfect moment that my heart will be turned and changed for sure. And it's never been changed since. And so I'm glad that I'm able to share the gospel. I'm glad I'm able to share the word of God. I'm glad I'm able to share the sweet and the sour, as well as the pleasantries and the encouragement. And I am thankful that he saved my soul. I'm thankful that he protected me. I'm thankful that I did not die. I'm thankful that I did not self-destruct. I'm thankful that I woke up out of my darkness. I woke up out of this place that I was in. I'm thankful that he has poured so much into me that I'm able to share with people and tell you all about the gospel and talk to you all about real things and talk to you about accountability, while letting you understand at the same time that some things were not your fault, being able to see what others have done, as well as looking within yourself, and then giving God the access to make the changes so that now you can land an impact. So guys, thank you so much for listening to me ramble, yakety yakety yak yakety yak yak. Yo, man, guys. Anywho, let me go. Comment below if you like, and talk to you soon. Bye.